Hi friends, this is Simran. A very warm welcome to all of you in my channel The Recipe Hut. In this video, let's make the most popular North Indian dish, that is butter chicken. It's my personal favorite too. So let's make this smooth, creamy and finger-licking dish. To make this recipe, I've taken 500 grams of boneless chicken thighs, that is approximately 1.1 pound. I'm using boneless chicken, but you can use bone-in chicken or you can also use chicken breast instead. 5 medium tomatoes roughly chopped, 1 medium onion roughly chopped, 1 inch cinnamon stick, that is dalchini, 4 to 5 green cardamoms, that is choti elaichi, 4 to 5 cloves, that is long, 1 teaspoon of grated ginger and half a teaspoon of grated garlic. If you want, you can also use ginger and garlic paste. Approximately 1 teaspoon of dry fenugreek leaves, that is kasuri methi, 1/4 cup of cream. I'm using heavy whipping cream, but if you have fresh cream, feel free to use that instead. 2 tablespoons of yogurt, that is dahi, 1/4 cup of cashews, that is kaju, approximately 1 teaspoon of honey, 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter, salt to taste, 1.5 teaspoons of Kashmiri red chili powder. We'll be using 1 teaspoon for the marination of the chicken and half a teaspoon for the gravy. And try using the Kashmiri variety of the chili powder because that will give a very good, nice, bright red color to the dish. 1 teaspoon of roasted cumin powder and half a teaspoon of garam masala. Step 1 is to marinate the chicken. Add the chicken pieces in a bowl. To this, add 2 tablespoons of yogurt, salt to taste, red chili powder, half a teaspoon of grated ginger and 1/4 teaspoon of grated garlic. Mix everything well and let all the marination coat the chicken pieces nicely. Now I'm adding 1 teaspoon of butter. Doing this is completely optional, but if you add butter during your marination, it will help the marination to stick better. Once the chicken pieces are nicely coated with the yogurt and spices, we'll refrigerate it, and ideally it should be marinated overnight. But if you don't have the time, marinating it for 1 to 2 hours or 20 minutes minimum is sufficient. Let's move to the step 2, that is making the gravy. I'm using an instant pot to make it, but feel free to use a regular pressure cooker if you want to. Turn the instant pot on saute mode, and once it is hot, add 1 tablespoon of butter and then add the onions, and we just need to saute it for a minute. After sauteing the onions for a minute or two, add the remaining grated ginger and garlic and the cashews, and now we need to cook this till the raw smell of ginger and garlic is gone. Once the raw smell is gone, you can immediately add the tomatoes, and now we'll let this cook for another minute. Meanwhile, in a muslin cloth, add the cinnamon stick, green cardamom and cloves, tie a knot from both the sides, and we are going to add this in the onion and tomato gravy that we are making. Our onion and tomato masala has been cooking for some time. Now add 1/4 cup of water to this and the whole spices that we wrapped in a muslin cloth. We added 1/4 cup of water because the tomatoes will also be releasing water once the gravy is pressure cooked. Now close the lid and turn the vent on ceiling. Cancel the saute mode and we'll pressure cook it for 4 minutes on high pressure. After cooking it for 4 minutes and once the pressure is released naturally, open the lid, and now you can remove the whole spices that we'd put in a muslin cloth. And you can see that the onions and tomatoes are well done. Now we just need to blend it into a smooth paste. The basic difference between butter chicken and chicken curry is that butter chicken has a very smooth and creamy gravy. To attain the smooth texture, I am using a sieve and I'll be straining the gravy. but this step is completely optional. After straining it for a minute or two, you can see that all the tomato skin and the pieces that were not grinded well are left behind in the sieve, and we are left with a very smooth gravy. Now let's move to the step 3, that is cooking the chicken. I'll be pan roasting the chicken in the same pot, but if you want, you can even roast it in the oven, or you can roast it on a skillet, or you can also pressure cook it along with the gravy. Once again, turn the Instant Pot on saute mode, add a teaspoon of butter, and I'm also adding a teaspoon of olive oil so the butter doesn't burn. Spread it nicely, and once the pan is hot, add your marinated chicken pieces. Make sure all the chicken pieces are touching the bottom of the pan because you want to cook the chicken, and at the same time we want it to have a nice brown crust. This is the reason I did not pressure cook the chicken pieces. And since I'm using boneless chicken, it'll get cooked really fast. So after a minute, you can see that the chicken has released its juices. We'll continue to cook it from the same side. And once you see that the water has evaporated and the chicken pieces have released its oil, you're gonna flip it. And now we're gonna cook it from the other side as well. Overall, it took me approximately 2 minutes to cook the chicken from one side, but that time might slightly vary for you. Once all the chicken pieces are nicely cooked and there is a nice brown crust on it, we'll take them out in a separate bowl. And now let's move to the last step, that is mixing the chicken with the gravy. I added the gravy immediately after taking out the chicken pieces, and now we are gonna cook this on medium heat for 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll be adding the chicken pieces. Add salt to taste, and since the butter we are using is salted, so I added the salt accordingly. Red chili powder, cumin powder, and the most important ingredient, that is dry fenugreek leaves or kasuri methi. This gives a very distinctive taste and aroma to the butter chicken. And now we'll give it a mix and let it come to a boil. At this stage, I'm also adding a teaspoon of honey. If the tomatoes you are using are sour, you might need a little more honey. Now I'm adding the cream. In all, I added 3 tablespoons of cream, but you can increase or decrease the quantity of cream as per your liking. Once the gravy comes to a boil, add the chicken pieces and give it a good mix. Since the chicken is already cooked, we'll just cover it and let it cook for 3 to 4 more minutes so the chicken pieces can absorb the flavors from the gravy. It's been some time, let's open the lid. Add half a teaspoon of garam masala, give it a mix. Now turn off the Instant Pot and we'll let it rest for 2 to 3 minutes. It's been some time, let's have a look at the chicken. Our butter chicken is ready and it smells so good. Time to dish it out. This goes perfect with naan, chapati or even rice. Garnish it with some cream and cilantro. Friends, do give this delicious recipe a try, and if you tried, do not forget to tell us in the comments how it turned out for you. Thumbs up if you've liked the video, subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you get an update when I upload a new recipe. Thanks for watching.